Can I pay my rent with social media? Things are pretty tight. And the other day I was thinking, what would happen if I just took myself and my art seriously? What if for the next 90 days I just gave it my all and saw what happened? Here's the deal. My rent is $1,179 and I have a full-time job. So not a lot of extra time to go find another job. So I'm going to be just focusing on my art, i.e. making content. Ugh, don't love that word, but whatever. Consider this side quest my slightly unhinged declaration of war on my rent, and I'm taking you with me. Hello friends and fellow adventurers. My name is Kayla, a multi-passionate creative doing all the things and documenting my messy middle so you don't feel so alone in yours. Welcome back to Side Quests and Side Eyes. Part quest log, part tavern, part just unhinged chaos. Around these parts we give a hard side eye to hustle culture, always take the slow path, and celebrate every small win. Yes, showering counts. So why the unhinged side quest? This isn't just about paying my rent. Certainly that would be very, very nice. This is about breaking the cycle of quitting on myself and proving that I can build something sustainable. I go on plenty of side quests as a multi-passionate creative. So this one I am christening the 1179 side quests. And it's going to be a bit of an experiment, but there's also going to be some survival strategy worked in there. And then, of course, with me, there's always a little bit of chaos and just unexpected gold nuggets of wisdom that you get from me failing in front of you. My goal is to have a weekly episode that just gives a very transparent report about how's it going. I'm going to show you some stats that I'm planning on sharing each week. And then I'll probably drop just some lessons, right? The lessons from the messy middle. What am I learning? What worked well? What didn't? I have a feeling that this side quest is going to be very near and dear to my heart. I have pivoted a lot in my time as a multi-passionate creative showing up in online spaces, specifically on social media. I've noticed in the past there have been multiple times that what I've really wanted to do, I usually end up either starting a little bit or I kind of set on the back burner because I think that's probably not the quickest way to make money, so maybe I should shift my direction somewhere else. I have tried coaching multiple times, and while I know I'm good at it, it's never felt right for me. It's never felt quite like the right thing. This week I had an epiphany. I finally looked at myself in the mirror and recognized I don't want to be a coach. What triggered that shift was my husband asking me, I know there's a lot of different ways that you can make money outside of my regular job, right? There's a lot of ways that you can make money and you can do anything you set your mind to. I totally believe that. But what is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to do to make money? And without filtering, I said, I want to write music, I want to write books, and I just want to make art and share that journey so that people feel less alone and be paid for it. And I know it's not always as simple as that, you're right? Like it takes more strategy, time, and organization and different things like that to create a system, a structure. And we like flexible and sustainable rhythms and systems around these parts. I talk about structure a lot. I needed to finally recognize that there's something else that I want and there's something else that I need to pursue. And why not just pursue it? Why not just give it a shot for real without filtering or shrinking? That's what the side quest really is all about for me, is trying, actually giving this my all for the first time in just what I want, not what I'm supposed to want, not what I should do. Just this is what lights me up. I want to share that. I'm terrified. But that's okay because I'm going to share that journey with you so that if this is something you feel passionate about or adjacent to, or you know what, you just need some encouragement to do the scary thing, you can watch me and know that I survived. I mean, hopefully. Now I'm going to share with you my quest log. These are just some numerical financial metrics that we are going to be looking at every week, simply so that we have something to compare to as we go along and then at the end of this journey as well. Okay, let's start with the first category, which is the coin. And that is exactly what it is. It is the amount of rent, $1,179. The next one I'm calling XP gains. This is going to be simply numbers. YouTube subs, IG followers, patrons, Substack readers, and how many sales of my digital download that I have. The next status bar is going to be energy. And so energy is just going to be kind of the baseline of either how I'm feeling that week or how I felt that week, whether it's, low energy, high energy. Next one is going to be my capacity bar. And that is exactly how it sounds. Like, how much can I actually do this week? Is my capacity low this week? So maybe we're going to, take it back a little bit, or is it pretty high? So maybe we ramp it up a little bit to cover weeks that we have lower capacity. You can think of energy and capacity kind of like our stamina bar in a video game. It's like, okay, how are we doing? How are we holding up? Because I think that's important too, especially if you're going to be following me on this journey. I wanted to add some non-numeric metrics in there for you as well. Which leads me to the last one I'm going to be calling community encounters, where you come in. This is going to be those of you who want to be a part of the story. This is comments, DMs, just any kind of encounter that's positive, that's feedback from you all. So if you want to lurk, that's also fine. But if you want to join in and comment, you are going to be a part of this particular stat. All right, let's go ahead and fill in the quest log for the first week, this beginning week, and let's start with a coin. So obviously we're starting with 0, but I'm going to throw a little twist in here. I'm going to throw in a little bit of a hit damage because I do have some business expenses. So while I've attempted to be an entrepreneur who actually makes money, it's mostly turned out to be a hobby that I put money into because it makes me happy. It's a part of the budget. It fits in our budget, but I think I need to add that to the spreadsheet to be honest about the actual costs. So some of these things include like my website hosting, my email hosting, Canva, some various other hosting sites, and then a little bit of coaching as well for myself. My monthly business expenses are $336.62, but I do already make a little bit of money from my Patreon. I make $59 a month from my Patreon. So I'm going to put that together, and that means we are technically starting off at negative $277.62, and that is okay. I wanted to throw that in because I feel like that's honest, and that's probably where most of us, when we begin a journey like this, we're usually starting in the negative because we gotta put a little money in sometimes before we make a little money. So the coin, we are beginning at negative $277.62. All right, let's go ahead and jump into my current XP. Again, these are just flat numbers. My YouTube subscribers are at 122 beautiful people. Thank you for those of you who have already subscribed. If you would like to help me for next week already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would love that. For Instagram, we've got 1,325 followers. Substack readers, I've got 128, which is about the same as my email list. They're basically the same. For Threads, I've got 302. For the Do Less Side Quest, this is a digital download that I sell for $17, and my goal is to get a few more of those sold and practice practice how to talk about it and be better at marketing that, because I'm really proud of it. And currently I have 0 sales on that. A big fat goose egg. And finally, my patrons. I do have a Patreon. I launched this when I started writing my fantasy duology that I will be self-publishing. It is postponed until 2026, but I'm still writing. I'm still working on it. We are still working on that, I promise. But I launched that kind of as a way to support me in my self-publishing journey. I have 16 Patreons already. 13 of them are in the free tier and 3 of them are paid. All right, next let's move to energy. So for this week, I'm honestly feeling like I've got a lot of energy. I'm feeling very motivated, feeling very, very excited. So I'm really going to capitalize on that because I know that there are going to be some weeks where I have absolutely no energy. So I am happy to say that my energy levels are very, very high. As for my capacity, I'm feeling the same way. I'm feeling like my capacity is very, very high this week. So what I'm going to be doing is today, I'm going to be batching a lot of filming. I will be filming a bunch and batching all of that. And then I will choose another day to edit all of those. So capacity, very, very high. As far as community encounters, we don't have any because I'm just telling you about this now, but you can help me for next week and start by commenting down below and giving me your thoughts on this. Do you think this will be fun? Are you going to enjoy this? I want to know. I want to know your thoughts. So give me a few community encounters. Toss me a coin, either literally or figuratively. All right, that completes our first quest log on the 1179 side quest. I'm really excited about this. And next week we are going to dive into my actual strategy. What is the plan? Because the base plan, right, is to share more of my art, share my process of writing music. What kind of music am I writing right now? What am I doing? Where am I sharing it? Also, my journey with writing my fantasy duology, like I said, give you some updates on that, what I've learned along the way. There are already some YouTube videos that you can check out that talk about a little about my editing process and kind of how I got to self-publishing a fantasy duology. Other things like creating carousels and graphics and writing for Substack, all of these different things are my art. And so on the practical level, it's like just share your art, right? But there needs to be a little bit more strategy on how do you actually get paid to share your art? How do you share your art in a way that invites people in that they want to support you? And so that can add up and actually pay my rent. So next week we will talk about the platforms, the strategies, the milestones, the products, all the different things that I am trying to accomplish in these 90 days, potentially longer, but we're just setting 90 days to begin with. I hope you will stick around to see that part of the journey as I figure out how to pay my rent with social media. Well, friends, that's all I have for you today, and I hope you're as excited as I am. So hit subscribe, because whether this ends in victory or me responding at my 9 to 5 for a little bit longer than I would care to admit, I'm planning on taking you with me, messy, middle, and all. Welcome to the 1179 side quest, and I will see you next week for the strategy and update. Bye, friend.